you're already going to 25 schools. Now you're going to add another 25 schools of small schools. So the logistics don't work. Now, that's why you go to Hispanic MBA. That's why you go to Black MBA. You go to these conferences, now you've got all these students can come, and we get them through there. So we do get people that are from the non-traditional schools. And the reality that occurs when we do bring in people, and there's a question over there before we get, some make it, but the majority of them don't make it. And it's two of the things that occur, and that's what we looked at. If you're not from a core school, and you start at the company, part of it is that you don't have that immediate networking. Oh, you went to Harvard, you go out to Harvard with the Harvard guys, you go out and have the dinners, the lunches, they show you all the rules.
Right.
So we were dropping them there, saying, okay, now we're bringing in diversity. And they were failing miserably. So now what we're doing is we're bringing them in, we're helping them, we're onboarding, we're telling them we're teaching them the rules. We're getting more success. But it's still much harder to get them to be successful in the system.
Let's take.
I would suggest that your point of view is correct, that we, the big companies, are going to the wrong schools. And it's because we're not willing to do the hard work. I went to Kellogg, and let me tell you, it's a charm school at the MBA level, right?
Yeah.
You learn how to interview.
Yeah.
You learn how to write a resume. You learn how to dress like corporate people. You learn how to speak. You get polished.
Yeah.
Cal State LA doesn't have the resources
Yeah.
or the funding to polish their students. They're lucky to get them through a system that's really, really broken, right?
Yeah.
And that's no fault of their own or the kids, right? But we as companies have to go out to those schools that are underfunded, under-resourced, and do what you did at the University of Puerto Rico and start helping them out and giving them that. It's harder work, but that's what we have to do because, you know, we've all gone to Nashimba and Nabimba, reaching out all these conferences. These are not economically diverse kids. These are kids who are lucky to be born in certain places and have certain parents, and they got to that level no matter what they look like because they were lucky. And we as companies, I think, if we really are committed to diversity, have to go out there, to your opinion, and go to different schools. And if they're not ready, we need to help make them get ready and do the polishing and all the other stuff that the rich schools can really afford to do. It's about economic diversity, I think, and that's really one of the stories that we all miss.
P&G as a great example. P&G was trying to develop a logistics program, and they'd go out to recruit to campuses, and there was nobody of color. Well, so we can't hire. So then the one person said, you know what? That's not a good enough excuse. They actually went to a high school, a local high school in Cincinnati, and started to get people interested in logistics and supply chain. And then when they went to school, they gave them internships. 5 years later, they got their first hire, but now they've got a pipeline of hires for the rest of their career. That's what the economic development is to go out and try to develop it when it's not there.
Miguel, did you have a
I've
point?
got a few, because I wanted to go back to several points.
Absolutely.
And that's fine.
Coming to
I've been
you.
enjoying this. The first one, your original question about the brand identity, and I think I spent a lot of time in social media and Twitter and things of that sort. And I think that people out there are starting to hold companies accountable, not only from a marketing standpoint, but hey, why do you even want to work for this company that treats their customers this way? And that's, I think, a trend that you're starting to see online or in social media, at least on Twitter, I think, is that, and I've done it myself. I had some problems with a cable company recently, and that was like, their customer service is just not there, fail, and it was like, get it together, and that may give somebody that's looking at this particular company, it's like, well, do I want to go work for them? They've already got this reputation. The second thing about diversity and things that you were talking about from a college perspective, college degrees perspective, the politics when it comes to selecting a college or where you're going to go to is just unbelievable. I think, at least in my experience, because you're right. You have the Kellogg team, you have the Columbia team, you have Harvard team, you have the Stanford team, and they're all competing against the numbers. Well, we're going to have 3 in this area, we're going to have 2 in this area. Well, where are those? They're not going to pull them out of my, numbers. I want somebody in finance, whatever. What I did when I was at Nestle is I created what I call a walk-on program to get across over the well, if you didn't go to the Harvards or the Stanfords or these other schools, you still have a pipeline to get in. I swear I was going to use it. To get in, if you want to really work with us, here's another way, even if you don't go to these schools. And I think that was an important process that I started. Hopefully they're still doing that, I'm not sure. But and just listening to the comments, I think ultimately it becomes about organizational culture. And you're not going to see this change systematically until organizations get it, right? I just recently read the book Tipping Point. And if you haven't read it, I'd suggest that you do. It talks about how ideas change, or why certain ideas catch on and others don't. And they apply it to organizations. And until you get to that critical mass, until you get more people of color in certain positions, and people start seeing people of color in certain, leadership areas and things of that sort, it's not until you get to that critical mass point where things tip over and that culture changes that system is going to change.
Or localized schools, and we do that. I think a lot of what determines what schools we recruit at is the program itself. So what is the talent that we're trying to recruit for that program? Is it a specific major? Is it a specific, is it MBA?